Hey guys, welcome back. Today let's see about SCD and AWK. Okay, so these are like very important tools, like powerful tools in Linux scripting. Okay, so normally when we work with the Linux or DevOps tools, normally we should have seen grep command. Okay, so but what exactly is the use of SCD and AWK? So SCD is a stream editor. S for stream, ED for editor. Okay, stream editor, and AWK, it is like for matching a certain pattern, or in case if you have to get any formatted data, then you will be using this AWK. Okay, so this SCD, like you can use it for multiple purposes, like in case if you have to find and replace a text, or else if you have to delete something, or else if you have to insert lines or modify files, then you can use SCD. This AWK, it is for formatting the data, and then in case if you have to get certain exact output, then you can use this AWK. Okay, so let's get started and see how this will be used in real life. So this is very important, guys. In case if you are going to write any shell scripting, obviously this SCD and AWK will be one of the important commands which we will be using. Okay, so let's get started. So I will just open my Linux editor. Okay, I will just create a directory. Okay, so I have some sample data. I will just copy this one. Okay, I will create a file called employees.txt. I'll just paste it here, and then you have to give UIF. Okay, so I'll just, oh, I didn't go into that. Okay, I will just move that one. We employees that. Okay, so we have the file employees.txt. Let me just do cat. Yeah. So we have a header with the name, department, salary, and we have employees John, Asha, Ravi, Priya, Kiran, and their departments IT, HR, finance, IT, HR, and their salaries. Okay. So now let's see examples of SCD, like how in case if you have to search something and if you have to display something, how it is used. So stream editor, like stream, like for example, if you are working in the CLI, if you want to just change, if you don't want to change, so actually we have this employees.txt. Okay, so we have original data here. So when you do something using SCD, normally this original file, it will not be affected. Okay, unless if you forcefully do it, it will not be making changes in this. Okay, it will just display to us with the modified data. Okay, now let's see like how this search will work with SCD. Okay, so SCD, and then whenever you pass any command, you have to pass it in quotes. Okay, so for example, if you have to search something, you have to pass in search. Okay, now for example, we have the department IT, right? So here also we have IT. Okay, in case if you have to replace this one with some other department, we have to just find and replace. So how you can do it in SCD, you have to pass SCD yes slash, and then what exactly you have to replace. So I have to replace IT with some other. Okay, let me replace with engineering. Okay, and then you have to pass it slash G. What is G? G is for global. So in case if it has to change everywhere, you have to pass G. Okay, so if you pass just this one, it will not do any changes. For example, if you see, you will get error. Okay, why it is not executing? Because you have not passed this file. Okay, you have to pass in this file name where these changes has to be done. Okay, now again I will do that one, and I will give the file name. Okay, now it will try to change this details in this employees.txt file. If you see, previously it was IT, right? Now it is engineering and Priya engineering. So it is displaying as John engineering and Priya engineering, right? Now let me do cat of employees.txt. See, it is still IT. Okay, but it has displayed as engineering. Okay, this is the use of SCD command. Okay, So this is one. For example, if you have to delete something, okay. So for example, we have Asha from HR department and Kiran from HR department. Okay. Now we have to delete that file from employees.txt. How we can do? So in case if you have to delete something, you have to pass in sed, and then again you have to pass in codes. So what is the department? HR. Okay. So what exactly we have to do? We have to delete, right? So delete is D. Okay. And then we have to pass in the file employees.txt. Enter. So if you see, we don't have Asha HR. So we don't have that department. Okay. Both these lines have been deleted. Okay. So this entire line which contained Asha have been HR have been deleted. Now let me do cat of employee.txt. It is there. Okay. Just in the display, what is that display? Like it is stream editor. This is the editor, right? So in this editor we are seeing only the files which is needed for us. Why this will be important? For example, you will be working with some data and you have to see output of only few things. For example, okay, simple thing, like for example you have some logs. Okay, like in your log file you will have multiple logs. Okay, many warnings, info, everything, but you have to just see errors. Okay, so at that time you can just pass in this command and you will be able to filter out all the unwanted things and just get the output of errors. Okay, in real time it will be used in those conditions. Okay, now for example we will have thousands of lines of the logs, right? But you have to check only like certain lines. For example, it for example if you take logs, it will be for weeks, months, whatever it is, right? But you have to see only for last 6 days or last one day, right? Or else you have to check last few lines. Okay, how you can do with this one? So in case if you have to check, so we have these things. Just I have to check line from second to fourth line. Okay, so how I can do that? So for example, if you have to pass in, you have to pass sed hyphen n. Okay, and then inside quotes you have to pass the lines. Okay, so which lines it needs to be print? It has to print from line 2 to 4. Okay, and for print we have to pass p. Okay, p means print, and then you have to pass the file name. Okay, so just you have to pass sed hyphen n and which lines you have to print. In case if you have to print, you have to pass p. Okay, just enter. If you see, it has print from, okay, here line 1 is this one, so from line 2, line 3 and line 4. Okay, so those things it got printed. Okay, so this is how you will print in case if you have to print any of the lines. Okay, and we have one more important thing. So now we have this file. Okay, but we want something top of this one, like above this name we need one more line. Okay, so how we can do that one? And in case if you need something below this line, so like nothing should be edited, only we need one additional line below this one. Okay, so in case if you want to do that one, you can achieve this using sed again. Okay, so again pass in sed command, and you have to pass codes, and you want it in first line, right? In case if you want it in first line, you just type 1. Okay, 1 I, and then you have to just pass in a slash. Okay, and then you have to give the line, like for example if you have to give something like employee record, employee records. Okay, you can just pass in the file name as well. Okay, now enter it. Okay, if you see, we have got the employee records at the first line. Okay, so what is the command? 1i. So when you give 1i, it will be in the first line of the your text document. Okay, so now you have to pass something at the bottom of this line. Okay, now what you have to pass? Now again pass sed under quotes. So now what, in case if you have to print something at the end, okay, then you have to pass dollar $a. Okay, and again you can give some praise, and then you can just give end of file. Okay, and then you have to give the text file. Okay, enter. So if you see, it has come as end of file. Okay, so this is how you can play around with sed command. Okay, so in case if you want to add any of the line at the end, you can use dollar $a. In case if you have to add something in the first line, you can use 1i. In case if you have to print certain lines, you can use the 2 comma 4, like whatever line numbers you need, and you can just pass in p. And in case if you have to delete, you have to give d. and in case if you have to search and replace, you can pass it yes. Okay, you have to give the text which has to be replaced as well. Okay, so this is how the sed command will work. Okay, now let's see how awk command will work. Okay, now we have this file employees.txt. Let's use the same file. Okay, now awk, so awk command starts with awk. Okay, so here again you have to pass in quotes. Okay, but in awk, whenever you pass any of the command, you have to use curly braces. Okay, so just pass in curly braces, and you can give the command as print. Okay, print, you can give print, and then you can give the text. Okay, so when you give this one, this entire it is similar to cat command. Okay, so similar to cat command, we have got the enter thing. Okay, if you do cat employee.txt, we will get the same thing, right? So in case if you have to use awk command and if you want to print the entire data, you have to use awk, and then you have to pass in the print command, and then you have to give the text document. Okay, text file. Okay, in case, okay, for example, if you want to print any of the certain fields, for example, if here we have name, department, and salary. Okay, now what we need now, we just need name and then salary. Okay, so in case why this will be useful, for example, you have to create a script. Okay, for what you for example, you have to create a script for cpu utilization or ram utilization. Okay, so then if you check, for example, I will show you here, du-sh. Okay, so here if you see, when I given this one, we have file system. Okay, we have size, we have used, available, and use percentage, mounted on. Okay, so we have all these things, right? So but for example, if you have to write a script, you will have to see this one. Okay, for example, if something crossed above 90%, you should trigger a alert. Okay, here we don't want all this data. Okay, we just want this one. In case if something reaches 95%, we need data of that one. Okay, similarly here we need data of, like, we just need name and salary. Okay, similarly in case if you have to filter out this one and if you have to write only this one, then obviously you have to use awk command. Okay, now for example, if you have to get the output of this 95 percentage, so how exactly we can write the script? So we can use the aws command along with this command. Okay, so df-hp. Okay, it's df-hp. Okay, now we can pass the awk command along with this. Okay, so how we can pass? So awk command always starts with awk. Okay, now we have to pass inside the quotes, and then it will be under gsub. Okay, gsub. Okay, and then we have to pass, here we have the percentages, right? So we have to pass in the percentages. Based on that we can filter. Okay, so we can pass in the percentages inside double quotes, passing percentage, and then comma, and then we are separating it, double quotes, comma, and then if you see, it is 1 2 3 4 5. Okay, so it is in the fifth column. Okay, so you have to pass in $5. Okay, and then you can have to pass it again, $5. So now we have to match it with 95 percentage. Okay, so whichever is greater than or equal to 95, so those will be printed. Okay, now let me pass in greater than equal to 95. Okay, and then I'll just close this one. Okay, enter. Wait for some error. Okay, we have passed it wrongly, so I have closed it here once. I have to just remove this one, enter. Okay, so what exactly it does? So it just removed the percentage symbol because we have just removed that one. So it has removed and it has given the entire line. Okay, so if you see this C line, it has the greater than or equal to 95%. Okay, so this one drivers, so it has come, and then one more line, it is this one. Okay, so both these lines got printed. Okay, so this how in case if you have to get any of the lines to do the automation, you can just use this sed awk command. Okay, so now let's see this one. Okay, so here you want just the first line and the third line. Okay, so in case if you need only the first line and third line, so how we can do that one? So we can just pass in the awk command with the print parameter. Okay, so for example, you can just pass in awk hyphen f. F is formatter. So what exactly it will do? It will separate based on certain format. Okay, so what is the common thing here? Common thing is comma. So everything is separated using comma, right? So I will just use formatter as comma. So it is comma separated. Then again you have to pass in quotes, and then you have to pass the print command. Okay, so inside the curly braces you just give print, and then which lines you need? You need first line and third line, first line and third column. Okay, so $1 comma $3. Okay, so like we have to pass in the text file name as well. Okay, if you see, we got the name and salary, so it has ignored the department. So this how we will be able to filter this one. Okay, now for example, okay, now we want to get the employees details who are earning more than 60,000. Who are earning more than 60,000, we need those details. Okay, so similarly, for example, in case if you're working in a company, if someone is earning more than 1 lakh, you just want to print those employees details. Okay, so what you can do, awk hyphen f, and then this f is for formatter. Okay, it should be capital F, and then it is comma separated. Okay, and then you have to print the details. Okay, so what you have to print? You have to print the details of employees whose salary is more than 60,000. Okay, so the 60,000, it is in the third column, right? So $3. Okay, third column. So greater than, let's assume 60,000. Okay, 60,000. So what we have to print? We have to print the data like name and employee who is earning that much. Okay, so print. Okay, $1 is employee name, comma $3 is his salary. Okay, employee.txt. So if you see, we have name and salary, which is greater than 60,000. Name and salary. Other things are ignored. Okay, so similarly, you can work with the awk commands. Okay, so now let's see a simple script like how we can do it. Okay, so vi test.sh. Okay, now let me write the shell script. Okay, see, it is a simple script. Okay, insert. Okay, so let's start with bin bash. Okay, so let's give input. So input is, we will give the employee, that's employee. Okay, I will just get the path of that pwd. Okay, I will just give this path. .txt. Okay, so this is the input. Okay, now we can have some temporary text file as well. Okay, so let's keep it as temp equal to, and then we can just give temp.txt. Okay, so now let's just give some echo statement. Okay, okay, now let's cat dollar input. Okay, so that is the name we have given, so we will just cat that one, and then we will just do echo. Okay, and then now the first step is like, for example, we can remove header using SED. Okay. So for example, if you have to remove header using SED, we have to use D, D, right? So one D, and then you have to give dollar input. Okay. And then you have to pass it in a temp file, dollar temp. Okay, so what exactly it will do, it will delete the header. So 1d means it will delete the first line. Okay, and then it will save it in the temp. Okay, so the temp is temp.txt file. Okay, so once this is done, okay, let's just give the name. Okay, the next one is okay, now we have to print employees whose salary is more than 6,000, 60,000. Okay, so we can use AW command. So we have already seen, right? So how to use that one. So we can use the same thing. Okay, so hi earners. Okay, so how we can do, we can use awk hyphen f is for formatting. It should be always capital F, and then it should be comma separated, and then we have to pass in the details like salary. It will be in the third column, so just give $3 greater than 60,000. Okay, and we have to print the details. Okay, print. So what are the details we have to print? We have to print like first and third column, right? So we can just print that one, and we can do some formatting. Okay, so I will just pass in these things once again. So it will be in equal formats. Okay, so I will just give minus 10 as, and then I will give 10 spaces, and then again I will give some space. Okay, so just double quotes, comma, and then we have to have $1 comma $3. Okay, and then we have to use the $temp. Okay, so we will be using the same file where we have inputted the data. Okay, so this is not mandatory, I am just using it for formatting. In case if you are practicing, this is not required. Okay, in case if you are confused, leave it. Just I am using it for formatting. Okay, now we can replace this HR. So all these things we have already seen. Just to see how it will work in the script, I am just showing it. Okay, so just update departments. Okay, so updated departments. So in case if you have to work, you have to use SCD and then search HR. Okay, and then you have to replace it with for example, you can give full name like human resource. So you are human resources. Okay, and then you have to change it globally, right? So in case if you have to change it globally, you have to give G. Okay, and then again you have to pass the file which you have passed there. It is $temp. Okay, and then finally you remove that file rm $temp. Okay, so that it will remove the file. Okay, so what it will do, it will just give the data to temp.txt, and then you will use that one in all the things for deleting the header, and then for printing the data, and then for search and replace, and then you finally remove that file. Okay, now so in order to execute that one, you have to use chmod +x test.sh. Okay, now I'll just execute this one. So if you see, okay, it didn't format here properly. Okay, it is fine. So if you see, it is the original file, it has printed, and then hi earners, it has printed Priya and Kiran, and then it has replaced the HR department with human resources. Okay, so this is how it will work. Okay, so you can practice this, guys. It will be very important in case if you learn this one, because it will be most commonly used in shell scripting. Okay, so in case of any queries, just comment in the video. Let's see in the next class. Okay, if you like the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye.